So hold on.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting point, because the argument there is that the idea that the inner courtyard was contested was a result of also the Hindus committing illegal acts like desecration and asserting their rights and creating disturbances. The fact that the Muslims didn't do that in the outer courtyard, they didn't contest it, then becomes almost a grounds to punish them. That the fact that you didn't put up a fuss, you didn't put up a fight, while the Hindus did, actually weighs against the Muslims, is one critical reading of the verdict.
Now, when you said that, well, it was the Hindus who were desecrating the inner courtyard. What about
the judgment itself?
What about the fundamental act of desecration, the very erection of the mosque? We forget all that happened. We forget that happened in history. Now, once you accept that that happened in history, and we had evidence in the form of archaeological evidence, how can you shut your eyes? So, you know, what is really being done by many of these commentators that you have referred to is that you have a selective view of history, ignore evidence of what happened beyond a certain period in history, and start looking at evidence which is of a more comparative
But I thought,
nature.
Justice Chandrachud, correct me if I'm wrong, I thought the judgment found that there was no evidence that the underlying structure was necessarily demolished to build the mosque, because there was a gap of several centuries between the underlying structure and the mosque, and there could have been any number of reasons.
There was adequate evidence from the archaeological excavation. Now, what the evidentiary value of an archaeological excavation was a separate issue altogether.